everybody. This is Keith Gleason, host of Indie Comics Relay, creator of the Mighty Mascots, and I'm here back this month with the February indie comic recommendations. Before I get into that, just want to remind everybody, Mighty Mascots 7, 8, and 9 still in demand on Indiegogo. We got 3 brand new issues. Issue 7 is pretty much done. I have some final edits, little grammar, some of the artwork needs to be tweaked, little things like that. And issue 8 is nearly complete as well. All the artwork is done and the coloring is done as well. And the only thing I have left really is the lettering, and I got about 5 pages left of that to go. And then issue 9, the artwork has been started. I think Ian has about, I want to say about 8 pages done, 10 pages, something like that. So the pencils and inks is already in progress, which is awesome. So hopefully all this comes together for our June, or I put summer release, July, I think. So hopefully all that comes together in time. You get to the printer and get these issues out to you. So check it out if you haven't checked it out, or if you're sick of me talking about this. You know, I've been talking about it for months now, but just check it out, see what you think, and you know, see if it's something that's up your alley. All right, on to this month's February. So I've been doing this for a little while now. I want to say maybe about 4 or 5 months, something like that. And so what this is I decided, you know, every month I do my DCBS order online. And why I'm doing the order, I thought, you know, I'm buying this stuff anyways. I'm going through the previous catalog. Why not recommend some indie books that I see on there that I'm either going to get or planning on getting at some point or reading? And it's not necessarily everything that comes out from Diamond or from all the publishers. It's just stuff that, first, you know, stuff that I'm into, or something that I think that I want to read at some point, you know, or something like that. And so I pick out usually about 6, 7, 8, you know, titles that I saw that I'm either going to put on my order or I'm writing on my little list to get later on, especially if it's like a trade paperback or it's a hardcover or some, you know, something that I want to, or if I see a mini series and, you know, I want to get that as a trade down the road, you know, so that's why, so I'll mention it. So I'd say let's get going. I'll start with the first one that caught my eye this month. Let me bring up our picture here. So this is called A Town Called Terror. Now, this I'm not going to buy the trade paperback, but I bought all the issues that were in this trade paperback, which I believe is issue 1 through 6. It's a mini series. Well, actually, I think it's an ongoing series. It's a return of Steve Niles back to horror. And if you guys know, I don't know if you recognize the name or not, but Steve Niles is the guy that did 30 Days a Night, the original mini series that was spun off into a hit movie. And then he did, I think, most of the mini series after that. He also did some other great stuff. For Dark Horse, I believe it's Cal McDonald's. If you like good noir, monster, detective, you know, classic detective stuff, that's great. And he did a series of, it lasted about, I think 15, 20 issues for DC Comics called Simon Dark. That was excellent. Great new character that was brought to the DC universe that the book just didn't make it for whatever reason, but it was really awesome. So if you find those back issues, I highly recommend that. But this is A Town Called Terror, and this is a trade paperback collecting the 6 issues that came out, you know, prior to this. And it's basically a town that's like filled with monsters and things like that. And the main character gets sucked into going back to this town that he's originally from, and you find out that his father kind of runs the town, and there's all kinds of monsters. It's beautifully painted by Sizemon Kudaransky is, I think, how you say the name. And you know me with names, I'm horrible at them. So hopefully I didn't butcher that too much. But I like the first 6 issues. And if this continues on, I definitely want to get the rest of this. So I highly recommend that. This is the Diamond Code. If you're interested in getting this paperback, you would give your comic book store the Diamond Code, and they can either order it for you or, you know, stock it for their store, you know. So that's the first one, Town Called Terror by Steve Niles. So the second one is a movie or TV show tie-in, I should say. This is from Boom Studios. This is Expanse, The Dragon Tooth, and it's a 12-issue maxi series. Now, The Expanse was a TV show on Sci-Fi Channel, and it also is a hit series of books, novels that I haven't read. I've only seen the show, and the show is excellent. It's basically like Game of Thrones meets space, you know, basically. And it's really well done. If you like stories with complex characters, you know, multiple storylines, juggling, big sci-fi concepts, then this is worth checking out. And you know, normally I don't get into much of the movie and television tie-in stuff, but this one caught my eyes because Andy Diggle is writing it, and Andy Diggle, who did a lot of stuff for DC, including The Losers, that the movie The Losers was based off of, and he's an excellent writer. So that caught my attention, and the show is finished. It's on Amazon Prime if you want to check it out. I think they have like 5 or 6 seasons. It was a great run, and the problem with it is that the end of it wraps up, but it kind of wraps up in a kind of a rushed way. So it looks like this mini maxi series is going to fill in those gaps. So it's really cool. I think I'm going to check this out. Now this is one that I mentioned earlier on that I might wait for paperback. This might be something I might wait for paperback to get the whole thing and just read it in one go. But just image that they show looks great. So I don't know. I'm going to check it out. So if you're interested in getting this, this is the Diamond Code that you would give to your comic store, and they can order it for you. All right, on to our next recommendation is Hairball. This is a 4-issue miniseries written by Matt Kint. Artist is Taylor Jenkins, and it looks like Matt Kint also does the covers. I'm a fan of Matt. He worked on the Berserker Keanu Reeves comic. He's worked on a bunch of indie books. I used to work for Valiant. He's done stuff for DC. You know, he's all over this place. He's one of those writers that I think is underappreciated. I really like his work, and I hope, you know, at some point he gets out to a bigger audience. You know, I think he could be as big as James Tynion, you know, or any of those guys. But this sounds interesting. It's a supernatural nightmare described as Junji Ito meets Hayao Miyazaki, which is, you know, that is cool to me. If you don't know who Junji Ito is, look up his artwork. It's very it's Japanese. It's just horror. It's really cool images. And then Miyazaki is, you know, kind of not, I want to say kind of the opposite, which is more, I don't want to say like Disney, but it was more epic storytelling, like Princess Mononoke, you know, it's fantastical, you know, things like that. So this is intriguing that he's mixed those two together. So I'm kind of curious about this. It looks like it's a 4-issue mini series, and it's I mean, this image looks great with the cat just sitting there looking, but it has a severed finger on the ground. So it looks like it's done with watercolors, you know, which looks really interesting here. So yeah, I'm curious about this one. His other book from Dark Horse, Spy Superb, which I mentioned or recommended a little while ago, excuse me, as well, that's just starting to come out now. I got number 1. I'm waiting for 2 and 3, so I can read it all together as one big thing, you know. So yeah, if you're interested in Hairball, here is the diamond code up here. Give that to your comic book store and have them order you the whole mini. All right, on to our fourth book. This is 007 from Dynamite Entertainment. Now, I'm a big James Bond fan, except for probably the last movie, which I did not like at all. But I've liked every Bond movie to some degree, you know, that's ever been made. And the comic stuff is all over the place. You know, it ranges from really good to really kind of crappy. But Diamond has had the license for 007 for a while now. And their early ones with Warren Ellis were really good. And there was a couple in there in between that were really good. Actually, one by Andy Diggle, which I just, you know, mentioned, was doing the Expanse maxi series there. So he had done a James Bond as well. And the reason I recommend this one is because I've been reading the current run that's written by Philip Kennedy Johnson. And I really like it. I think he nails kind of the, you know, the style and substance of Bond. And it looks like this might be continuing his previous series. So, and it looks like, you know, the Bond is an enemy of MI6 and they send the entire 00 division after him, which is kind of a cool concept. I haven't seen that in any of the Bond movies before. So this cover looks great. This looks like a classic Ian Fleming kind of cover, you know, you'd see on one of the paperbacks or something like that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to continue getting Bond when it switches over to this new series. I'm currently reading it now, and I'm guessing it's going to only be 6 issues. It's weird because Dynamite never labels their stuff, whether it's miniseries or not. So you kind of, stuff will just end and you're like, okay, well, I guess that's it, you know? So, so I'm guessing that the current Bond book I'm reading now is 6 issues. We'll see. But yeah, this is, if you're a Bond fan, I think Philip Kennedy Johnson gets the character. So this is worth checking out. So, all right, let's move on to the next recommendation, which is World Tree by James Tynion IV, Jordi Belair, and Fernando Blanco. If you guys know, I've been preaching that I love James Tynion's work. Although I just did a review for Nice House on the Lake, and I didn't really care about that much. So, you know, he's you know, he's like anybody. He's, you know, he's got hits. I'd say he has more hits than misses. And I'm willing to give this a shot just because of his record. It looks interesting. It also has some previews of the artwork. So let's take a look at that. Like the artwork looks really wild and funky. I wonder if it's all, so it looks like it's black and white with a little dash of color, you know. Yeah, it just looks very interesting. So I know this has something to do with internet and like a secret internet and something like that. I think this is a monthly book. Doesn't mention anywhere on here that it's a mini series or anything like that. So, like I said, if you like Tynion, you like Something is Killing the Children, if you like Department of Truth, I think this is worth checking out. So this one's definitely going on my list. And if you're interested in getting it at your store, this is the item code, and you just give that to your comic book store owner, and they'll order it for you. I'm guessing the fact that Tynion's so popular now, most stores will probably have some copies of this, but you never can tell. Some stores order just DC and Marvel, and that's it, you know. So why chance it? Give them the diamond code and get it ordered or add it to your pull list. All right, so our final recommendation this month is Cuphead. It's a trade paperback from Dark Horse Comics. It sounds like it's a bunch of different stories featuring Cuphead and Mugman and all the characters from the Inkwell Isle. Cuphead is a video game, a very awesome video game. If you've never played it, it's the biggest hook about it is that the characters, the video game's done in this old animation style, like stuff that you would see in the 30s, where it had like that kind of that scratchy look, and you'll often be watching it and there'll be like a hair in the frame, just like those old cartoons, like the old Tom and Jerry's, the old Looney Tunes, things like that. And it's just, it's a hard game, frustrating, but beautiful game, especially if you're a fan of old animation. And there's also a TV series or cartoon series on Netflix as well that has, I think, 4 seasons now, 3 or 4 seasons. And me and my wife just finished watching all of it. And if you like old school animation, the Netflix show tries to emulate the look of the game, but you end up getting these really fun little cartoons that kind of like the stuff you grew up on. And most of them are about 15 minutes long, but some of them, there's some long episodes there. Yeah, I recommend all of it. I recommend the game. I recommend the Netflix show. And I didn't know that they did a comic, so I'm definitely going to get this graphic novel. This looks really cool. So, and it says it's, you know, true to the look and feel of the game. So I'm assuming the artwork is going to be very animated look, you know, very probably flashy colors, things like that. So yeah, I'm definitely checking this out. So that's my final recommendation. So if you want to check that out, the diamond code is right here. This might be one that you may want to have your shop order for you, because they may not get this, you know, especially if you're a fan of the Cuphead franchise. So check that out. All right, everybody, that's it for February recommendations. I was looking through the previews and I wasn't sure if there was going to be a lot this month, because usually in the winter time things start to not be as much, you know. So it was good that there was stuff to recommend here. So, all right, I will be back tomorrow actually with a live stream. We're going to be on Monday night instead of our normal Tuesday, because Johnny's got something going on Tuesday. So join us tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll be live with a couple of guests. We'll be talking indie comics. We'll be having a good time, and we hope to see you guys in the chat. Join us. All right, and that's it for this video. So have a great week, everybody, and read some comics. All right, thank you so much. Have a good one. All right, bye.